say that the rift between Nightwish fans was started when Tadia was kicked out and was replaced by Annette Ozan. But as I'm finding out, there was also another rift created between the fans long before, during the early 2000s with the 2002 release of Century Child. For one group, this is where Nightwish got better as a whole with their overall sound and music, while the other group of fans say this is where they started to slip into making more commercial sounding music and sounding less inspired as a whole. In other words, they sold out. The bottom line is no matter which side the fans are on, Nightwish got bigger and higher up on not only the Finnish charts but worldwide as well, and their success pretty much began with Century Child. Why would some people seem to rank this album as among their least favorite? For starts, this is a bigger departure from the power metal sound that people loved with Oceanborn and Wishmaster, continuing the emphasis on ambience and melody and less on speed. Lyrically, the songs are darker, and instead of the fantasy-based cheerful themes that people loved in the two predecessors, you have what later became a signature theme in a lot of the songs: loss of innocence and the consequences it has to that individual. What many people don't know is that this dark sound is the result of the tensions within the band at the time, and Thomas went as far as unofficially declaring an end to the band altogether after the recording and subsequent tour of Over the Hills and Far Away. By the way, I know I'm not really going over that little EP. The song is great and the B-sides are okay. That's all I can say. During this time, Thomas started feeling unsatisfied with his life as a whole and what he had done, and adding to this, their bassist Sam Ivanska started misbehaving towards his fellow band members, and according to Thomas, he missed appointments and didn't take gigs as seriously anymore. Tanya starting spending less and less time with her bandmates as well. Ultimately, Thomas decided to keep the band going, but on the condition that they got a new manager, that their bassist Sam Ivanska was gone, and replaced with a new bassist that could also provide male vocals. Enter Marco Haitala. The darker songs here can be seen as his personal feelings from the time. Sound-wise, with Century Child, you have three things. The first is Tadia starting to ease up on her operatic-style vocals, which I haven't really talked much about until now. Maybe because I'm used to them and they sound good to me anyway, but I know a lot of people that get turned off by her operatic vocals, especially when she sounds almost too high on the older songs. I'll be honest, I didn't care for her operatic vocals at first and was more focused on the music itself, which was amazing. The more I listened, the more I realized how part of the sound she was in the early days. Starting with Century Child, she starts singing with a more rock-based sound, sings a little softer and more restrained throughout the album. And of course, the second is the addition of Marco on his bass. His down-tuned bass not only adds another element of heaviness, but his vocals are just awesome. And it was definitely a smart move to use him for the male vocals on their songs. Third is the addition of the full backing orchestra, which adds to the atmosphere that the band has already been putting more emphasis on. Now again, just because they didn't have an orchestra on the other two albums doesn't mean they were symphonic songs. This time, with the orchestra, they just add more emphasis on orchestra in general, with the songs still being symphonic, if that makes sense. So the first song, you have Bless the Child. And here is where the symphonic metal sound starts coming into place. With elements of atmosphere already there, it opens with the sound of choirs, and the intro builds up into a very solid mid-tempo opener. Sure, it's not a fast opener, and people say that they don't like that Tadya's vocals are a bit subdued compared to earlier albums, but honestly, it works here, and the softer vocals fit the mood perfectly. As Bless the Child starts to fade away, it actually goes right into the next song, End of All Hope. This song is awesome from end to end. It's highly reminiscent of the song Wishmaster with almost the same beat, albeit this time it's a little darker, and instead of fantasy, it's the personal feelings from Thomas. This was one of the first songs I heard thanks to JMaps showing me a YouTube video of them, because he was the one who actually discovered the band for me. Third song on this album is Dead to the World. At first, I didn't really care much for this song, but now it's one of my favorites the more I listen to it. What I love are the vocals from Marco, the keyboard and guitar solos, and the faster tempo change in the middle, and the sheer heaviness that Yuka brings with the double bass as well. This is easily one of Nightwish's best songs, period, and rightfully so. It still gets in the setlist rotations from time to time. And still remind the listeners you still have the power metal sound there. Dream, and this is another one I didn't care for at first, but started loving it the more I heard it. It's a nice little ballad that starts slow and picks up, and I also like that it's about love, finding out if that person you love indeed loves you back. And the best part is easily when Tadya's vocals and Yuka's drums pick up at the end and make this song go out with a bang. Just like Dead to the World, this one deserves to stay in the set list. Just once that all I need. The Dreamer. This song is just heavy. It's a good headbanger and definitely is a song that's missed. Some people hate it, but I love it. The best part is where Marco's harsh vocals and Yuka's drums literally attack the ear at full force, and it's almost like you're going through a frightening experience going through it. Other than that, there's really not much to say about Slaying the Dreamer. It's dark, it's heavy, and it's awesome. with the first 5 songs on the album being really, really, really good, this is where the album starts to go downhill a little bit. Track number 6, Forever Yours, here is the true ballad of the album, and it's a decent song lyrically as it is with the melody, but unfortunately, it's one of those songs that falls short simply because it follows the first 5 songs on the album, which are great standalone hits and fan favorites. When I listen to it, it sounds okay, but many times I press the skip button. And the trend continues with Ocean Soul. The song I feel about the same as Forever Yours, but this one I like it better for the parts involving the chorus and the middle breakdown. But other than that, Ocean Soul is not as memorable. And the next one, Feel For You, it's similar to Ocean Soul, and I often think of it as filler, but it's only a little bit better because Marco's vocals save it from being a total waste of space. So the first 5 songs on the album are great. The next 3 after it are meh at best. So what happens? They go with another cover, Phantom of the Opera. And I'm not going to lie, I love the original Broadway song and musical because of this cover version. This cover version happened to get me back into liking the Broadway musical again. It's perfectly well executed in a sense with Marco and Tadya's duet. But the only thing I don't like about this song is the ending, where Tadya, for whatever reason, in the studio recording doesn't try to do the vocals sung by Christine in the show, but on live versions she does. Well, make up your mind. This is definitely a signature Tadya era song, and honestly, it doesn't need to be sung by the other 2 vocalists that follows. And the last song on this album, Beauty of the Beast, highly underrated. And for a while, it actually was one of my favorite Nightwish songs. Being like Phantasmic, where it gets off to a rousing start, slowing down and picking back up, this is the opposite. It starts slow, picks up in the middle, climaxes with speed and heaviness, then slows down again as the vocal harmonies and choirs faded out. It's a solid piece, and it shouldn't be overlooked by listeners. There's nothing much I can say about Beauty of the Beast. It's a great song. That is Century Child. It may not be as good as Wishmaster, but many people don't seem to give this album enough credit. There's still some great stuff on this album. It has 7 solid songs on this album that are worthy to listen to anytime. And it's a great album to listen to at night. And I actually think the softer vocals from Tadya not only help the songs, it actually make them a little more accessible to the audiences, especially those, even metalheads, who don't really care for opera vocals. I will agree though, she didn't have the perfect balance with her vocals until the next CD. Marco is nothing short of an awesome addition, and the impact he had with the band is the reason why they became the most successful Finnish band worldwide. And you'll start to see that with the album Once.